Yeah, yeah. Build like this, I don't fold. Faith in motion, mind on go. Move with purpose, never pause. Lead with light and guard the cause. Build like this, no need to prove. Every step I make it move. Ain't for clout, this real grit. You can't fake the build for this. Woke up strong, laced in grace. 10 toes down, I claim my space. Never begged, I break through fear. I built for decades, not just years. I seen pain, turn that gold. Learn to sell while still hold soul. My team eat when I speak truth. That's real pressure in that booth. From insurance to influence, from broke thoughts to evidence. I ain't selling, I'm protecting legacy in every section. They cut like this, they dug. I confront that storm with love. I move bold, speaking lead. Faith in numbers in my head. Build like this, I don't fold. Faith in motion, mind on go. Move with purpose, never pause. Lead with light and guard the cause. Build like this, no need to prove. Every step I make it move. Ain't for clout, it's real grit. You can't fake the build for this.
All right, well, if you think the world owes you something, you're already lost. See, victimhood is the virus and ownership is the cure. What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sabal here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas, and welcome to another Tuesday afternoon Millionaire Responds. And this afternoon, we're not just talking about mindset. We're talking about mental money leaks, the tiny thoughts, the small phrases, the things that quietly rob you of income, of opportunity, and peace. And everywhere you look, lately, this is so annoying. And everywhere you look, online, at your office, work, your business, even in church, you hear what I call the victim language. I can't get ahead because of my boss. Must be nice. They had connections. You know, I'm Filipino, and they don't let Filipino people do that. Matt, that system is rigged. Yeah, I know. But Linda, listen. Yes, there are systems, there are limitations, and there are obstacles. I'm not denying that. But there's a difference between acknowledging barriers, understanding certain limitations, sadly, that today we still have to weave through, and also building your identity to and around them. Now, psychologists call it external locus of control. It's an interesting word I've been studying here lately. External locus of control, believing that outside forces decide your life. But here's the crazy part. The same research shows that mindset costs people real money. And guess what also costs people? Real time. The IZA Journal of Labor Economics found that people who believe effort matters, what's called an internal locus of control, are more likely to invest in education, earn more money, get promoted faster, and even become self-employed. So what's the translation? Victim thinking, understand, thinking keeps you broke, because how you think things is how you see things. And how you see things is how you do things. And how you do things is going to affect the results you have in your life. So ownership thinking will build you a raise or create new opportunities. Frontiers in Psychology 2022 studied over 100 entrepreneurs. It found that internal control builds entrepreneurial competency, and that drives directly one's business growth. When you think, well, Matt, I make things happen, and you actually start acting like it, and your results will follow. One of the early phrases I heard early in my career was this term, make it happen. When I first saw that on a board, I was maybe 20. I never heard that in the Marines. But I started taking what I learned in the Marines into my civilian life and in my new business. I just saw that phrase, make it happen. You see, in Science Direct 2021, this article shows the same thing with money habits. People with a victim mindset save less. Now, those with ownership beliefs, the beliefs in their brains, they project, they save more, and they ultimately build higher net worth. Not because they earn more, because they believe that their actions matter, that every dollar that they spend and invest in matters. And according to the Journal of Human Resources, workers with internal locus control beliefs are far more likely to join trainings and upskill because they expect a return on effort. I noticed this when I was in the Marine Corps. Every bit of my promotions, from private first class to lance corporal to sergeant, was all meritorious. I didn't know where it came from. All I knew is if I just did a little bit more than everybody else, I can make another $35 extra a month. I can make another $125 extra a month. If I volunteer for hazardous duty, another $150 extra a month. I was wired that way. I wanted, matter of fact, I wanted to be one of the youngest corporals promoted on that base, which is Marine Corps Air Station Tustin in Southern California. See, this mindset will show up everywhere. In your finances, and you say something like, why save? The government's just going to take it anyway. This external locus says, in your career, my boss doesn't appreciate me, so why try? What's the point? In business, man, nobody supports me, man. My whole world, my whole family doesn't support me. That's why I can't scale. That's why I can't get my business off the ground. See, every time you say those words, you're handing your destiny to somebody's control. That somebody else's decision controls it. And here's the thing. You come to the 7-Figure Squad. This is a faith and finance channel. I believe the man or woman's ultimate control is God. It's up to me to allow God to take more control of my life, to lord over and king over my life. And in that relationship with God, guess what I'm able to do? I want to work in a spirit of excellence. Colossians 3:23. Don't work unto man, what says man. Work unto the Lord in a spirit of excellence. See, that's like giving your car keys to have the external control. It's like giving your car keys to a stranger and then complaining that you're not getting anywhere you want to go. See, victim language is expensive. It costs you follow through. It costs you creativity. It costs you confidence. And those are 3 currencies you must have in order to build you wealth and freedom. So today's Respond Live is going to be very interesting because we got a bunch of videos here we're going to share with you. But listen, bottom line, I get it. The reason why I get it is because I was that victim from a language perspective. I was a broke single dad, fresh out of the Marine Corps, fresh out of bankruptcy, fresh out of divorce court, fresh out of 2 different cases in family child support court. And yeah, I had every reason to feel like a victim. And I did for a minute of time. I felt like a victim all the time. If only she did this, and only she did, if only the Marine Corps did this, if only the government did da. But the day I stopped saying, why me? Instead of trying to wrestle with God and start asking, what now? What is this? What's the silver lining in all this? What's the sad lesson to see in all this? What can I take away? That was the day that changed everything for me. And that's when I started earning again. That's when I started building again and leading thousands of entrepreneurs who choose ownership over excuses. Even the Bible backs this up. Proverbs says, even as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And the victim language, victimhood starts in the heart long before it ever shows up in your wallet. Now, you can't pray for prosperity and still speak like you're still powerless. So this afternoon, we're going to break this all down. We're going to react to some IG videos here that we prepared of people speaking that victim language. I'm going to show you live how to flip they did this to me into, here's what I'm going to do next. I've got a graph here. We're going to work some things together because the cure to victimhood isn't waiting on sympathy. It's taking ownership. I'll give you an example. Can we go to my iPad here? So here's some framework, okay? Here's some framework I want us to consider. I like writing things out. I love yellow padding, whiteboarding things out because it allows me to see things and how I'm thinking to allow me to process, okay? So here's the victim language, right? This is what I consider external. Okay? The victim language. And here's worse, is victim thinking. Okay? And that is still allowing external locus of control. Now, what's the opposite? Ownership, baby. Ownership. That's internal. External. Okay? I'll give you an example. Okay? No one No one helps me. What's that? Okay. A little bit of feedback here. Okay. Okay. No one helps me, man. No one helps me. That's the language. Okay. And then what happens here is no one helps me. And the next thinking behind this, the language behind it is the thinking behind it too as well. And guess what the thinking says? Let me blame others. Everybody's the problem why I'm in my situation. No one's helping me. You know what ownership mindset says? Let me find mentors. Let me find men and women, a pastor, a leader, somebody's been through this, seen it from different angles, seen it from a different perspective, and guide me through it. So instead of saying, no one's helping me, instead of saying the blame game, guess what you seek? Mentorship. Okay, let's do another one. They, the they mentality. They don't allow me to do this. They don't let me succeed. They don't allow me to get ahead. They. That's the language. But what's the thinking? The thinking is you give away control away. The they allow me to do this. What happens is they now rip control away from you. And so what's the solution? This guy says that I'm an owner, says I build my own table. They won't let me have a seat at the table. Great, no problem. Ownership says, let me build my own table. And I'm spending no energy in what they don't allow me to do. We do another one here. It's just how I am. I'm this way. I am this way because I'm Filipino. I am this way because I'm from Chicago. I'm this way because I was in the Marines. I was this way because I was raised in this condition. I am this way because my ex. I am this way. I am what I am, and that's it. I am. This victim thinking is fixed. Stuck in their ethnicity, stuck in the 4 blocks they grew up in, stuck in the current condition of their bank account, stuck because that's the way I am. You know what ownership says? You got to evolve. Gatorade one time had a commercial says, if you want a revolution, you got a solution, got to evolve, got to evolve. If you want a revolution, need a solution, got to evolve, got to evolve. Mentor one time told me, he says, good gets better. So never let it rest until good gets better and better gets best. Boom. That's the ownership mentality. So let's jump into some videos. Here's some framework, okay? If you go back to this, here's some framework I want you to consider doing with the observation of your own language, your own thinking. Is it external locus control or is it internal locus control? Because just to give you guys a definition of what that means, I think I put it up here in my my Google. I don't think I put it up in my Google Chrome. But let's look at what external. Where is my? Okay, let me just put it here. I'm going between the two here. Let me just put it in my laptop. I got all sorts of technology here to learn how to use it live. Internal. If I'm going to go here too, let's work this together. Internal locus of control meaning. Okay, let's look at this together. An internal locus of control is the belief that you can influence your own life's outcome through your actions, your efforts, and choices rather than external factors like luck or fate. Individuals with an internal locus of control believe their hard work leads to success and their choices have consequences, while those with an external locus believe outside forces control their lives. Now, some of you guys might be saying, well, Matt, you just understand. We're the multicultural demographic. I totally get it. By the way, we're going to show you some multicultural language and thinking that appears in language here and how we can combat this. Because here's what I do know. Let me just show you this article. Okay. How many more millionaires do you think is in America? How many more millions do you think is in America? Okay, let's take a look at my screen. As of last year, believe it or not, in 2024, the U.S. minted approximately 1,000 new millionaires every day, adding over 379,000 new millionaires for the year. What? 379,000 new millionaires in 2024. This surge was driven by factors such as robust stock market performance and a stable U.S. dollar, and it led to the U.S. having a total of nearly 24 million millionaires by the end of the year. I'm just curious, how many black millionaires in the U.S.? Okay. Oh, how many black millionaires in the United States? There's approximately 1.79 million. What? Wow. Accounting for 8% of the total millionaire population. Amazing. This number has seen a significant growth, increasing over fivefold since 2020. More black millionaires being created today. So what's your excuse? But how many Filipino? Let me see. Filipino. By the way, it's Filipino American history. How many Filipino American? There's no specific publicly available. Apparently, we're not big enough as a stat yet. Okay. We're not big enough as a stat yet to be considered a demographic like the black and Latin. Okay, let's talk about Latino. We're not that big yet, unlike the black population or Latino population. Now, check this out. There's more black millionaires than are Latino millionaires. There are 1.2 million Latino millionaire households in the United States. The number of Latino millionaires has grown significantly, with reports indicating 1.2 million households with a net worth of over $1 million. How many Latino millionaires? And how about Qatar? That's the Middle East, right? Qatar's getting a lot of news lately. How many, not Latino millionaires, how many millionaires, period? There's no diversity in Qatar. What? There's only 26,000 millionaires in Qatar. Only 26,000 millionaires in Qatar. What about Dubai? How many millionaires in Dubai? Guys, there's 86,000 millionaires in Dubai. In Dubai. So, newsflash. What's the data telling you? You may not like what the data is telling you. What's the data telling you? Darren, what do you think the data is saying? There's more millionaires where? There's more millionaires in America. 1.79 black millionaires in America compared to 86,000 millionaires in Dubai. There's more Latino millionaires in America than are millionaires in Qatar and Dubai. If you want to be a millionaire and you're in America, hit the jackpot. All right. Well, some of you guys go, well, Matt, being a millionaire in America is just not the same anymore. Okay, well, be a millionaire then. Let me know how it feels. Become a millionaire. It's $83,333 a month. That's a cash. In fact, that's a cash flow millionaire. They're considered millionaires on paper. Guys, you can buy $1 million life insurance. I was at our our San Antonio Keep the Keys book tour last Thursday. I'll be in Little Rock, Arkansas this coming Thursday. I'm in San Antonio. I just asked the room. I said, "Sir," he owns a catering company. He's listening in my workshop, the Keep the Keys workshop. I said, "Sir, how old are you, sir?" He was 32 years old. "How much do you think a $1 million term insurance life insurance policy costs the average person?" That's 32 years old. $1 million, no, there was $1 million. Lord forbid something happens. $1 million goes to your beneficiary. You become a liquid millionaire, estate millionaire to your beneficiary. Sadly, something happens to you. But that being said, it's better than nothing. Right? It's better than nothing. He goes, "I think it's $500 a month for $1 million life insurance policy." I said, "How old are you again?" He's 32 years old. For a 30-year term policy? I looked at my guy, Patrick Wilbanks, who's hosting the event there in San Antonio. Tell him how much $1 million life insurance policy would run for a 32-year-old male healthy. He says about $75 a month. For $75 a month, obviously we got to get it more specific, but that's the general ballpark. For $75 a month, a 32-year-old male healthy can get $1 million life insurance policy for $75 a month. That's, by the way, that's the reason why people don't buy life insurance, because they think it's more expensive than what it really is. And so when you're looking at the situation of lack of financial literacy, also I would say lack of financial literacy, lack of financial thinking through the victim language. So let's take a look at some of these videos here. This video here, what is this one? Okay. She's talking about the poverty mindset. Okay, I think this video, she is a landlord, and she quickly discerns the difference between a rich mentality and a poor mentality through her business, which is her real estate, her tenants, when she collects rent. So let's take a look at what she has to say.
No, it's actually kind of crazy because as a landlord, I deal with people who don't have a lot of money. I used to invest in these areas that were really not well off. And you kind of see this pattern with like the language of the poor. People who are never able to own houses, like people who have struggled paying rent, this is their language, the language that they speak. And it's interesting because when I talk to them, I have to change my entire mindset. When I talk to them and engage.
So what she's saying is that because she's obviously a landlord, she thinks wealth. She thinks she's investing, she's creating housing, she has property she can rent out to people, and obviously the people that is not of her mentality, not ethnicity, not nationality, but financially, they're not the same because of their thinking. Let's continue with this.
With people who are from this mindset and or from these places. If I'm out in the wild and I see people like this, I have to mirror match because I can't come at them the way I would come at someone who is equal to me in terms of financial success and mindset, right? This is a different mindset. This is a mindset of someone who is consistently poor, and it's a language. The language that they speak is very, very reactive, as in things are happening to them and they can't do anything about it. It's this constant mindset and thus language of saying things like, well, you know how it is. I've never paid a living wage. Well, you know how it is. Inflation is just out of control. I'll never be able to afford whatever. It's always like this negative, like, and I always have to mirror match, even though I totally don't agree with any of it. And oh, you know, it's just hard these days. I'm never going to reach those things.
What's that? Make it full screen?
Nobody can. It's impossible. I literally have to like, totally. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, how could anyone survive in this current climate? I can't say the truth. I can't say the truth. Well, actually, here's what you can do. Well, actually, here's what you can do. Well, actually, this is what you... I can't be that person because that's not what they want to hear. They don't want solutions. Solutions are just more problems because it means that they actually have to take action and change the way that they think. And the way that they act. It's much easier to just be consistently victimized, because once you're a victim and you're really comfortable being a victim of your circumstances, that's your identity. That's your language. That's how you talk. Right? I see it all the time with job seekers, people that are angry at recruiters. I'm a recruiter by trade, and I see people.
Guys, notice she's not calling out an ethnicity, a nationality, a socioeconomic condition. She's purely just talking about mentality. That's all it is. Job seekers, entrepreneurs, all she's talking about is just mentality.
All the time be like, well, recruiters never get back to you, and all the jobs are given to the immigrants, and all these H-1B holders are taking all the good jobs. Like, that's the language. That's the language of the have-nots. Right? So when you hear that language, you can all you can say is pat them on their back and be like, I hear you, and move on, because they will never, ever see or do anything about it. They will never see solutions, and they will never take action to solve their own problem. This is a poverty of the mind. This is what it really is. You know, it's actually kind of crazy.
So let's go back to our whiteboard here. Okay. So let's go to our whiteboard. Let's break this down. What's the victim language? Things, she said, what'd she say? Things just happened to me, right? Things just happened to me. Okay? Things just happened to me. You know, this one, by the way, this sounds harmless, but it's deadly. Because it's the moment when you say things happen to me. Now you've what? Surrendered authority. You're no longer in control. God's no longer in control. Things just happen to me. Now, under victim thinking, we put what? No control, external locus, right? Life is just random. Life's lifing. Hear that a lot. So why try? Because things just happen to me, man. What's the point in saving money? Things just happen to me. As soon as I start saving money, bam. It's an emergency happens, and there goes my emergency. Well, that's what emergency accounts are for. Thank God it was there, because why? What? 59% of all people in America today can't come up with $1,000 in cash if an emergency came their way of $1,000 without putting on a credit card. And so this whole victim thinking mentality, right? That kind of thing builds a powerless identity. You start drifting. And by the way, if you ever read the book, I'm brain farting. It wasn't Think or Grow Rich. I'm brain farting right now. It's his next book. Basically, it was an interview with the devil. I'm brain farting. If you guys are watching it right now, put it in the comment section. I'm totally brain farting right now. But in the book, it was basically his interview with the devil. And the devil's like, I'm going to tell you, here's how I attack people. The people he attacks the most are drifters. Anybody put it in the comment section yet? What's that book I'm thinking? I'm totally brain farting, guys. And what happens when you start drifting, there's no direction, no plan, just reactive. And then you stop creating and you start coping. And you start coping with, since it's external locus, right? You cope with external substances. Outwitting the devil. Who said that? Good for you. Good job. Outwitting the devil. That's correct. That is outwitting the devil. The author of the book was interviewing the devil. And the devil attacks these people the most, which are drifters. People that are reactive. Romans 8:28 says this: all things work together for good for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Right? Romans 8:28. That means even in the pain, even in the delays, even in the closed doors, they're not to you, they're for you. Ha! When all the life crisis started happening, and once I started taking this ownership mentality, when I said things don't happen to me, they happen for me, ownership mentality. I'm like, okay, Lord, what am I supposed to see here? What's the situation? Why is this going on? Anytime, here's a funny thing. Every time my wife and I we do this once a year. We take a family photo shoot. We get in the biggest fights. I don't know why. We get in the biggest fights right when we're about to do a family photo shoot. Weird freaking arguments, like World War III, 4, 5 type of triggering arguments. And we've been together for 13 years, married for 10. You figure by now we learn how to communicate with one another. Still working on it, guys. Pray for me. Help a brother out. And in that conversation, in that argument, nasty things come out. And I realize the enemy's trying to attack us again. Because what does the enemy despise and hate? The unit of a family. When a household, for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Enemy hates that. We are pushing back the gates of hell. The greatest gift, I've got 5 kids, three that are now older. They were raised in different family situations than I am right now, where husband and wife are together. Because I have 3 older kids, and I was a single father with these 3 kids. Much different financial situation, spiritual and emotional condition I was in than the current 2 ones right now that are 15 and 6. And the best gift you can give your kids, your family, was when mom and dad are unified on the same page together, serving the Lord. And we take pictures and we realize, wow, the enemy wants to destroy this picture. The enemy wants to destroy this family unit. I'm not cheating on my wife. Never would think of cheating on my wife. Neither is my wife. So why are we having these freaking arguments for? Enemy wants to take us out. Ownership mentality. Because the owner, back to a graph here, is this. What is this teaching me? What's the silver lining in all this? Silver lining. You guys can read my writing. Probably never will be. I'm just whiteboarding this because I can think clearly when I whiteboard and I write things down. Not type it when I write things down. Okay. So how are we going to change? You watched that video. What's your takeaway from when you saw this landlord deal with that mindset of things just happen to me, and that's why they're renters, and that's why they're not owners. And ownership of a business, ownership of a home starts with their thinking. Think about that. Renters don't give a shit about their credit score. They don't give a shit about honoring the property. It's the landlords anyway. Something breaks, they just call them. Blah, blah, blah. But you own things. The moment you own things, the moment you take care of things just a little bit more. Why? Because you own it. Think about the last time, if you ever rented a car. You rented a car. Did you dog it out? Come on, tell me the truth. Did you dog it out? Come on, just a little bit. Because why? It's not yours. But your car? Do you dog out your car? No. You know why? Because it's not only your car, you take a little bit more pride in owning it. And if something breaks on it, you got to fix it. You got to pay for it. That's why you take things a little bit more preciously when you own things. All right, so we got another video here. Okay, this gentleman here, Sean Croxton. Let's take a look at what he has to say here.
Side of victimization. Every single thing. You have to pay tribute to Black victimization. We knew better how to go forward in freedom when I grew up in a segregated world than we do today. That TV show from the 90s, In Living Color, they always had an episode where this Black who still thought slavery was in place. A Black would come down the street with a suit on, a briefcase, going to work, and the slave would say, "Come here, man, get back behind here, they're gonna see you." The slave had no way to conceive of himself, would not know himself without the idea of his victimization being central to him. As Blacks, we can't escape freedom now. We're just in it. It's here. And we won't be humiliated anymore by white racism. We will be humiliated in the future by our failure to adapt to freedom. Black America today does not know itself outside of victimization. Every single thing.
Okay, so I'm married into a Black family. My children are a quarter Black. A lot of my best friends in life are Black. My business partners are Black. I grew up in Chicago, where my neighborhoods was very diverse. It was a melting pot. But you knew the Black neighborhoods, you knew the Latino neighborhoods, you knew the Filipino neighborhoods, the Jewish neighborhoods, the Italian neighborhoods. Okay, I'm just erasing my chart here because I want to chart this out too as well. Okay, let's put things here back on our board. Let's go back to our board here. My ethnicity, I can't do nothing right because I'm Black or I'm Latino or I'm Filipino or ICE is after me. Okay, my race is a victim. The government's after me. Okay, so the language is what? Let me go back here to green. What's the language? My race. There you go. Okay. My race. How come it's not writing? Oh, you guys like the pen? Okay. My race. Thank you. My race is a victim. My race is a victim. Okay. That's one way to look at it. And what's the thinking behind it? Like, this is permanent. Because can you change the color of your skin? Can you change your DNA? In other words, if you think that way, you're permanently disadvantaged. And when you're thinking this way, and you're stuck, and the system won't let me win. I just shared with you earlier how many Black millionaires in America compared to Dubai. 86,000 millionaires in Dubai versus 1.79 million millionaires in America? Is it really hard to become a millionaire in America? My identity is rooted in oppression. I'm getting into that a lot right now with my Filipino community. Man, these colonizers, you owe to the white man. Why are Filipinos starting to talk like that? Why are Filipinos talk like that? Well, Matt, we were, for 400 years, we're enslaved by the Spanish. I know. Are we enslaved now? Last time I checked, I'm not enslaved. You don't got to be in jail to be in prison. You can be stuck there with your stinking thinking. And you go through all this stuff. And for me, I don't know where I got this way. Maybe it's definitely for the big man upstairs, because leave it to me. I'm not thinking this way. Somehow, some of my life, I always felt that I was built for greater things. I watched football, I want to score the touchdown. I watched basketball, I want to slam dunk. I watched track, I want to cross the finish line first. That was my mentality when I saw things. Now, talent-wise, was I the best basketball player and football player in track? No, not at all. Not at all. There's much better football players than me. Guys, I'm a late bloomer. When I was in high school, do I have a picture of me here in high school? When I was in high school, I was 6'1", 155. 6'1", 155. Let's look at this picture right here. This is me in high school right there. Little skinny kid. Right? That's me in high school. Look at that. OG, Woolworths. Woolworths ain't around any day, but look at the cars. This guy has some cars from the 80s and the 90s, man. But that's me, man. My thigh pads were bigger than my legs. Skinny kid. That's me. I was 6'1", 155 pounds. Yeah, in that play I scored a touchdown, but I didn't score a touchdown all the time. Right? And so, but in my mind, I wanted to win. What about you? In your mind, deep down inside, don't you want to win? Did God give you a dream that people don't understand? You're even afraid even to share it? But take ownership. Because in this thinking, okay, go back to my graph here. Race is a victim. What's the thinking behind it? It's permanent. I can't do nothing about it. I'm stuck here forever. It's systemic. It's my identity. Totally get it. I'm oppressed. And someone that says, you know what, let me rise above this and let me take ownership of it. What does the owner say? I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. Because my history is built on resilience. My history was based on no excuses. Well, think about this, bro. Think about this. If you're black in America today, all the stuff that the black community went through the slave ships, through slavery, and you're alive today? You know how strong your DNA is right now? Oh my God. My friend, Lanal Harris, he takes a trip every year to Ghana. And he takes a bunch of people with him from Chicago. They go to Ghana and they go to the slave fortresses. Puerto Rico has the same thing. It's called El Moro, slave fortresses. And to see where slavery was being conducted, the big doors, the pits, the nastiness, the unsanitary conditions, and they just opened up, to feed you. They just threw down rice and everybody's pissing and shitting all over the place, sweating, no air conditioning, no AC. If your lineage survived all that and you're black in America today, salute. Wow, what powerful DNA you have. What a calling on your life, that lineage that you're from, you're here today. Wow. Salute. Same thing with I say to my Filipino. We were enslaved by the Spanish for 400 years. Yeah, we were. But you don't understand. So it's the colonizers. Yeah, we lost the damn war. Lapu-Lapu, Jose Rizal. We lost the war against the Spanish. And we got colonized because we lost hand-to-hand combat. We lost our lands. We were taken over, just like every other civilization in the world in the history of humankind. But today, what's your opportunity? That's the ownership language. And we honor our struggle with strength, with ownership, and building a legacy. That's how you honor it. Woo! All right. By the way, some of you guys may not agree with me. I totally get it. Put your feedback in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. Okay, next one. What's this one? What's this? Poor kids born in the... Oh, this is immigration. Poor kids born in the USA versus immigrants who come to our country. Let's take a look at this. All right.
Succeed while U.S.-born kids don't. Children of poor immigrants become rich twice as often as poor kids born in the U.S.
Wow.
This isn't a modern trend. It's been true for over 140 years. Economists from Princeton and Stanford studied millions of families. They focused on three major waves of immigration: 1880s, Germans, and Irish; early 1900s, Italians and Eastern Europeans; post-1980, Latin Americans and Asians. Every single wave produced the same stunning result. Immigrant children consistently outperformed native-born ones. It didn't matter if their parents were rich or poor. It didn't matter what country they came from. A century ago, poor Italian children climbed from the 25th to the 53rd income percentile. Native-born kids from equally poor families only made it to the 40th. Today, Chinese and Vietnamese immigrant kids reach the 60th percentile. Poor US-born children sit at the 46th. The reason isn't just work ethic or strict parenting. It comes down to one simple difference. Immigrants are willing to do something most Americans won't. They move toward opportunity. In the past, they went to industrial cities like Pittsburgh and Detroit. Today, they head to western states and northeastern metros. These areas offer stronger job markets and better schools. Notably, immigrants consistently avoid one region, the South. This is where economic mobility is lowest.
Wow. Wow. By the way, economic mobility is the slowest in the South. Interesting. Not in Texas. We're the South. We're not in Texas. But I'll say this. What do you think is the poorest state in America? Darren, what do you think it is? The poorest state. Correct. You're absolutely correct. By the way, I need some power. How do I get power in this iPad? Let me just, can I? Can we connect it to an adapter? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see if this is the last 5 minutes. Okay. Let's see if the last 5 minutes. Okay. Let's go my screen here. Okay. So let's take a look at this. All right. Kids in the U.S. versus immigrant kids. Okay. When you're looking at this scenario, how profound is this? Okay. American kids may say, "Oh my gosh, it's too." Let me choose a pen here. It's too hard to make a living today. You know, I shouldn't have to do that. Why do I take that job? I'm just ever hear that from kids? I'm bored. Ever hear that from kids in America today? I'm bored. I'm not motivated. I'm bored. You know, I'm American. I deserve it. I deserve it. That's why the podcast is called Just Earn It. So that's the language. What's the thinking, though? Comfort. Easy. Right? Chill. Right? Struggle is not fair. I'm looking for motivation versus what? Inspiration. Motivation is external locus control. Inspiration is internal locus of control. Dependency. My mom and dad don't help me out. Nobody in my family helped me out here, man. Other people got rich kids. We as immigrant kids don't think that way. I have rights, man. Yeah, here, kids, I got rights. Yeah, you got no money. How's the ownership mentality? So let's go to the ownership. How did I think like this as an owner? Okay. Hard means what? I'm growing. What else do I got to learn? Struggle is training. Failure is not failure at all. Failure is just a way not to do it. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. I thank God I'm an entrepreneur. Right? I love discipline. I love doing things that make me disciplined. No one's coming for me, man. No one is coming. No one's coming, bro. I got to do it. I got it. I earn it. Responsibility first, reward next. That's how that immigrant kids think. Send this video to your kids. They might not like it, but that's how immigrant kids think. And the results, can't deny them. All right, let's go to the next video here.
TGI Fridays getting Southwest Atlanta
this
with
big,
Magic Johnson.
Killer Mike?
Theaters getting there with Magic Johnson. I saw Magic Johnson completely become a businessman by way of doing business in Atlanta and then coming back 30 years later now to own the Atlanta Life Insurance Company.
That's Code Shannon to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
When they asked Magic Johnson, why did you?
By the way, time out. You'll never see any advertising of draft picks or DraftKings or Prize Picks. I'm never going to take sponsorship money from a company that endorses gambling. Why? Gambling is another form of victimhood. Did you know that? Listen, gambling says, man, I'm just going to roll the dice, put my cards out, I'm just going to gamble because it's up to luck, up to chance for the right card to flip up. But ownership says, I know how hard it is to earn $1. I'd rather invest $1 and get a return back based on a system and a formula that I can control to get a return on my money that I'm looking for each and every time I do it. But if I gamble, I may not have it because it's up to the odds, it's up to luck. One's up to hope and luck, one's up to system and formula. One's an owner, one's a victim. I'm not saying that if you gamble, you're a victim. I'm just saying if that's the way you want to make your money. I get if it's entertainment. So don't look at gambling as a form of making money. Look at it as an entertainment. If that's a weird way for you to entertain yourself, God bless you. All good. No judgment. But I'm not saying that's a way for you to earn a living. Now, I got a bunch of poker players out there that are looking at, oh, man, you're full of crap. No. I make a living playing poker. I know. I totally get it. I'm not saying you're a victim either. I'm just saying for most people out there that think that rolling the dice is the way they're going to financially get ahead, and they're upset, and then we're scratching off their lottery ticket at the gas station, they didn't win. Well, because they're operating from the finances as a victim versus an owner. Now, I say this tongue-in-cheek because how many of you guys have seen the movie Rounders? Seen the movie Rounders? Rounders like poker's a sport. Why? Because the same guys that play poker are at the same final table at the World Series of Poker. So some of them say it's a skill. It's on ESPN, right? Listen, what do you guys think? Do you think poker is a sport or poker is gambling? Put it in the comment section. Love to know what you think. Let's continue this with Killer Mike's iteration here and his reaction to Magic Johnson. By the way, let me get ahead myself. Let's just watch this and I'll react.
Required the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. He said, I saw this interview with Killer Mike, Alonzo Herney, who started the Atlanta Life Insurance Company because he started a barbershop. He had a barbershop that serviced all white men, but it was
Alonzo Herney. It was an emancipated slave and started a barbershop cutting hair for the white rich people in Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta.
All black barbers. He heard about the insurance game, life insurance game that you just learned about now. He heard about that, started selling black people life insurance. Magic Johnson recently acquired that company. And that's the unique thing about you as an Atlantan. As an Atlantan, you get to live your history. Your black history don't just happen in February. Your black history is happening every day, and your black ass has a responsibility. And part of that responsibility is to rise above the streets. You got an opportunity to rise above the streets and become somebody, because you have kids that are coming after you, that look up to you, that admire you, and they need to know that the opportunity is there. Atlanta ain't been no champion city because we got no funky ass reality show programs or some been singing and dancing since 1990. This is 124 years of excellence you're looking at. Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois had the Atlanta conferences here in 1904, 1905. Alonzo Herney had been there since 1900. So you have a social responsibility. John Wesley Dobbs was the mayor of Black Atlanta before his grandson became the mayor of all Atlanta. We have a responsibility. We have that responsibility in Savannah. We have that responsibility in Macon. We have that responsibility in Athens, Augusta, and Columbus too. And if we don't hold true to our responsibilities, it's nobody's fault. Like Mr. John told me down the street from my barbershop on Edgewood Avenue. He said, hey, they're gonna come along and tell you that white folks bought this neighborhood up and gentrified and took it from us, and that's a goddamn lie. He said the kids thought they were better than the stores their parents owned and bought. And they sold it, and they sold it for too cheap. So I'm telling my athletes and my rappers out there, we have a responsibility. And our responsibility is to learn to do good business and become businessmen and women. I saw Magic Johnson come.
Okay, so a lot there, man. Killer Mike was just rap. He's just dropping it. So Atlanta Life was a company founded by Landlord, as you mentioned. By the way, lots of black ownership after the Emancipation Proclamation. You talk about A.G. Gaston, who owned Booker T. Washington Life Insurance Company. You talk about Dr. Joseph Walker in Memphis owned Universal Life Insurance Corporation. You talk about the Supreme Life in Chicago. I believe the number was 60 black-owned life insurance companies in America after slavery ended. So after slavery ended, instead of these white-owned life insurance companies issuing life insurance policies to black families, that's what they didn't do. They redlined them out. And so instead of the black population blaming the life insurance company owned by white people, saying, well, they won't give us a life insurance policy. Guess what the black community did? They just got together. So let's start our own black bank. Let's start our own black life insurance company. And boom, the golden age in the history of life insurance through black CEOs. They took ownership of their own community and became something of it. And sadly, during the civil rights movement, I don't know what happened. I wish I could go back in time. But in the 60s and 70s, guess what happened to black-owned life insurance companies? They started paying, going away, phased out. The last one in existence right now is Atlanta Life by Alonzo Hearn, thankfully through the investment of Magic Johnson. So there's only one black-owned CEO in America today of a black-owned life insurance company, and that's Magic. Taking ownership of a situation, ownership of the scenario, ownership of what's going on in his community. And as you know anything about Magic, he became a billionaire because of his ownership of not one, but two life insurance companies, which is Atlanta Life and Equitrust in Chicago. You got it, 51% ownership from Guggenheim. So kudos to Magic Johnson investing in the community. And that's why today we're leading the nation in multicultural agency owners and agency builders in the insurance industry as we're coaching and mentoring them, because we're revitalizing that in America today. Because where do you think multicultural diversity is going to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? More multicultural or less multicultural? Listen, our community, we will be the majority in the next 20 years. We will no longer be the minority in America. We will be the majority. So you better take ownership of it now. That language got to be fed into your kids now. The ownership mentality got to be fed into your kids now. That's a generational wealth you can give them. It may not be money, but it could be generational thinking to level up the next generation, how you have ownership in things in your life, even though today you might not have ownership. Like I'm planning right now, my grandkids gonna do so much more better in business than me. Why? Because I'm doing things like this on social media that when I'm long gone, they can always have an archive. A great grandpa Matt doing his live streams here on Tuesdays at 2:00, and all the content I have on YouTube and all the content I have in my books, they can learn. They got a library from great grandpa Matt, who decided to make a decision in my life in my 20s, now it's 2025, to make a difference in my life because I took ownership of it, not reacting to my situation like a victim. Let's take another look here of another video here. Okay, this guy here is in tech. Let's take a look what he has to say here.
Absolute scam. Everyone always claims that Chicago is this perfect intersection of big city New York style feels, but without the insane costs that come with it. But I moved here a couple years ago, and that just couldn't be further from the truth. I make about $165,000 per year, but due to my role in tech sales, I'm eligible for $50,000 in additional compensation through commission. So net of tax, I'm usually taking home around $12,000 per month, give or take. But this is what I'm spending literally just to get by in this city. So my one bedroom in West Loop rent is around $4,000 per month. My East Bay Club gym membership is $500 per month. My Soho membership is $750 per month. My Jewel Osco, weekly.
Okay, so let's stop right there. If you guys know anything about, if you know anything about Chicago, downtown, the East Bank Club is kind of like the Ish Club where a lot of rich people go and network. So instead of going and working out at LA Fitness for, I don't know, $50 a month, he's got a $450 East Bank Club. Like there's an expectation, an entitlement to live this certain lifestyle. Bro, you're making $165,000 a year. Congratulations. But in Chicago, that's like making, I don't know, $80,000, $90,000 a year. It doesn't look like he's married yet. So just because you got a good paying job doesn't mean you go over and extend yourself. Wait, I want to go back and go back through his budget again. So
grocery run is $100 per week, or
not bad, or $400 a month.
$400 per month. Flights and travel is just an additional $2,000.
Oh, just an additional $2,000 a month just to go flight and travel. What entitles you to go fly and travel all over, whatever? $2,000 a month.
Per month. My weekly date night at RPM Italia or Seafood is minimum $250 per week.
That's about $250 a week. That's maybe one or two dinners. $125. It looks like he's dating, so it's $250 a week. $125 a person for dinner.
Week. My subscription to Sunnyside Pharmacy is $420.
Subscription to a pharmacy. What type of Advil are you taking, brother, for $420 a month? I don't know what he's doing. What are you spending? It looks like he's healthy. He's young, looks fit. What are you dropping $420 a month for from Sunnyside Pharmacy?
Per month. My vitamin D deficiency therapy and breathwork class in Kenilworth is easily $69 per session. Point is, total spending comes out to around $15,000 per month. I literally would not be able to survive in the city if it wasn't for my Gam Gams trust fund. This city.
For my and on top of it, he has a Gam Gam. So 15 grand a month ain't enough for him to spend. He got Gam Gam trust fund to fall back on. Must be nice. By the way, how many guys know your grandparents? I don't know my grandparents. I don't know. I know their names. Didn't have a relationship with them. My grandmother, my father's side, passed away during World War II. My grandfather, my mother's side, died of cancer when he was early 40s. Never got to meet him. My mother was 13 when he died. So I don't know my great grandparents at all. I don't. If you ask me right now, you have a gun in my head. For the life of me, I wouldn't even know my great grandparents' name. Some of y'all know your grandparents and great grandparents. I don't know who they are. And so to have a Gam Gam trust fund, amen. Good, by the way, good for you. But here's the thing. Where do you think his spending is at compared to what he's earning? He's earning a good coin, but he's spending a lot too. I promise you, $165,000 in Chicago, you can get ahead. Instead of spending $2,000 or $3,000, he could be saving and investing $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month in savings and investments. And when you save and invest, whether you max fund your index universal life policy or permanent policy, whatever is appropriate for you, or you put money inside a brokerage account, you put money inside a Roth IRA, you put your money, right? You create some liquid cash and liquid estate savings in your 20s. You're putting seeds in that financial farm. Boom, every month. Let the stock market cultivate. Like stock market cultivate. You cultivate with more seed. Boom, boom. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 2,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 100. Boom, you got $100,000 before you're 30 years old. And what the stock market has been doing. Yeah, I was mentioned to one of my guys. Listen, in 1 month of my stock market portfolio, we made $35,000 in a week. We're doing nothing. Why? Because we have been planting seeds in that thing for the last 15, 20 years. Boom, 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 boom. So if you treat yourself like a bill because you own your future, instead of deferring it to somebody else, guess what? In the next 10 years, not only do you have something to show for, you got now money working for you in your 30s. You really got money working for you in your 40s. And what happens in your 50s? Relationships of your coworkers in your 20s and 30s, they become VPs and C-suite executives or politicians or people that can open doors for you that they remember how you were in your 20s and 30s because you took ownership of your career, you took ownership of your business, you continue to grow and progress. Yeah, doors are going to start open for you in your 40s, 50s, and 60s based on what you do in your 20s and 30s if you take ownership of everything going on in your life. Not like this guy. This guy's privileged. This guy, if I remember going downtown, hanging out bars and network, this guy would annoy me. Right? This type of guy here would look down upon me because I don't have a East Bank Club membership. I'm going to work out at LA Fitness. Yeah, because I'm securing my bag. Because I'm reinvesting that into my business instead of having to show I'm a member of the East Bank Club. I know this type of mentality and annoying, but good for you. Got Gam Gam Trust Fund. Good for you. I don't have Gam Gam Trust Fund. I have ownership. And it annoys me when people like this, I run across them, they look down upon a guy like me because I don't have the East Bank Club. Oh, well, look at me now. Look at me now. Okay. All right. Next one. This is why so many people are struggling with housing in 2025. Let's take a look at this cartoon. It looks pretty funny. All right. Let's take a look at this. Let me.
Approve you for the apartment. You're just short of the 3 times the amount of the rent that is required. So I'm sorry about that. I won't be able to approve you. Okay. Just curiosity. Do most people that come here make $7,500 a month? I think most people have multiple income sources. So, they have roommates or their spouse or just other types of income. I don't think that any one person makes the $7,500 in this community. Okay, so it'll be impossible for a single person to get an apartment is what you're telling me. I don't know that it'll be impossible, but it'll be a little challenging for a single income that's not over $90,000 a year to qualify for an apartment. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Wait, don't go yet. I might have another option for you. What other option could you possibly have? So I don't know if you've actually ever considered buying, but when I ran your credit for the approval for the apartment, while we couldn't approve it for the apartment, it does look like I'm able to pre-approve you for $350,000 towards a house. Okay.
Hey, take it. There you go.
How much would the mortgage be? Just out of curiosity. I would, of
Triple.
course, have to run the numbers and look at your debt to income ratio, but
Triple.
I would say give or take about $2,800 a month. So you won't approve me for a $2,500 rental payment, but you'll pre-approve me
For
for a
$2,800.
$350,000 loan on a house that would have a $2,800 mortgage? Please explain to me how that makes sense. I wish I could. It doesn't exactly make sense. I wouldn't know how to explain it to you in a way that wouldn't also confuse me. But what I'm assuming is that because the house itself is collateral, there's really no downside, because if we have to do a foreclosure, we get the house back.
Hello. This is exactly how the bank.
Yeah, but when people are renting, you can do the eviction process, which is essentially the same as the foreclosure. So you still get your property back for non-payment. So that explanation makes no sense. You're absolutely right. But I wouldn't know how to explain it to you in a way that, again, wouldn't confuse me while I'm trying to explain it. So if you want to get started on the process, we could get you approved in a few days.
By the way, what would you guys rather do? Would you rather rent at $2,500 a month or own at $2,800 a month? Of course, well, I think they didn't include in this video. If I missed it, did I miss it? How much the down payment would be? Did they say what the down payment was? No, they didn't say it. You'd have to come with a sizable down payment. Doesn't look like she can afford this anyway. Being a single person trying to afford a $2,500 a month rent, which you can't anyway.
I'm going to go figure out how this makes sense, but thank you so much for your time. So
Okay, so it is confusing. Welcome to financial literacy. Okay, welcome to financial literacy. Here's the language. So let's look at our chart here real quick. Oh, we got okay, let's look it up. I got some juice. All right. So if we look at the language, okay, let me put it in green. Okay, the language is what? It's impossible. It's impossible to live these days, right? What's the thinking? What does that language cause you to do? I'm stuck. Okay, there's nothing I could do. What does the ownership mentality cause you to do? Right? I need to get tougher. I need to double down. I need to increase my skill set. I need to increase my marketability. I need to get a promotion. I need to get more clients. I need to expand my business. I gotta improve. Ooh, that's a nasty thing that people don't want to do. By the way, if you want to improve, come to our Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey event, surrounded by people that do want to improve too as well, November 12th. The tickets are here to come to our event here in Frisco, Texas at the Frisco Hall. And if you want to be surrounded with people that want to know more, do more, willing to be more, this is it, Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey. And I'll tell you this, lots of times people find themselves in a position where they're looking for the next conversation, the next hookup, you still got the graphic up? So here, the Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey, so people get it. Let's put that up here. Let's put the QR code, and I'm going to put that up there. There it is. Boom. Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey, Wednesday, November 12th, here in Frisco Hall. Come as a VIP, come as premium. And we're also going to be extending a elite, because people just want to get together. There's a small group of people that just want to get together every time we do this. We do this once a quarter. This is at the Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey event, upscale networking and masterclass that I host once a quarter. Next one is November 12th. You want to connect? We got people flying in from Chicago. We have people flowing from Toronto, Canada. Last time around, we got people flying in from the East Coast, West Coast. Here in Dallas, I do this once a quarter. It's a 3-hour event. Here for one evening, flying in that afternoon, fly back the next morning. Very, very impactful event. Want more information about this, go to cigarswealthandwhiskey.com for more. So let's get back to the framework here of the mentality here of this person. You got to get tougher. I need to improve my skills. I just need to improve, period. Okay? What's the other cause language? The rent is ridiculous. Rent is ridiculous, man. It's crazy, right? What's the thinking here? They're focused on costs, not cash flow. And when you focus on cash flow, guess what starts to change? Your language. What do you think? So instead of complaining about rent, I need to increase my income. Cause your brain. I don't have a college degree. I don't have rich friends. I don't have a financial, I don't have gam. Well, led me to the path I have today. Not because of anything special, because I just thought differently and I acted differently. Last video we'll discuss here. This lady's talking about retirement. Pretty interesting. By the way, do you think retirement today is something that is within arm's reach distance? Let's look at what this young lady has to say about retirement.
Real. Retirement in America is not a plan anymore. That's actually a fairy tale. Retirement used to be the default. You know, you would work, you'd save, you hit a certain age, and then boom, you could sit your ass down somewhere. That was the whole deal. But now retirement is actually a luxury item. It's Gucci, it's Prada. Now it's only something rich people can afford. For everybody else, the new normal is working until your last breath. Punching the clock until they roll you out of that building in a box. I want y'all, listen, don't get it twisted, because none of this is by accident. The system wants you to work until you die. Why? Well, because if you never stop working, then the system never stops running. Your body breaks down, your mind gets tired, but the machine keeps winning. Think about it. Your whole life,
And so can you. So can you. By the way, this is victim language all over it.
you've been sold a dream. Work hard, save your money. One day you'll be able to retire. Meanwhile, wages are stagnant, 401ks are a joke, Social Security is shaky, and the cost of living keeps eating every single dollar that you make.
It doesn't eat every single dollar. There's only a certain maximum that Social Security taxation can take from your salary, or if you're in an independent contract, it's 13.5% self-employment tax. That's it. Doesn't eat every single dollar. Now, if it's all you got because you're not leveling up, then the percentage, it's still a percentage though.
The dream has expired, but they still want you to clock in every morning like you're chasing it. It's generational too. It's not just you, your kids, same deal.
Yep.
They're going to work all the way into the
I
end
agree
until
there.
they have no more life left. So the next time somebody asks you when you plan to retire, this is what I want you to tell them. Retire? Baby, I'm on that work till you die plan. That's the new American dream.
Okay. Anything
Let's
else?
keep it real.
Anything else? No solution. Okay. So this is what most people in the media do, or podcasters today, to get attention. They do diatribes like this to get your attention, get people to start complain. But they don't offer what? They don't offer solutions. Guess what we do on this podcast? Guess what we do in this lives on my YouTube channel, Faith and Finance, here on Seven Figure Squad, and the Millionaire Responds on Tuesdays. We actually provide you solutions. We actually provide we offer a different way of thinking. Okay. And so let me just where's my notes here? So let's go to my board here. So back to our board here. This was language, thinking, and this again was ownership. Okay. This right here, this thought process, she brings out that retirement is only for the rich. Okay. It's one of the biggest lies holding people financially hostage today. And because it sounds like the truth, but it's really a resignation dressed up as wisdom. They're quitting already. And I bet you she doesn't have a retirement account. I bet you she doesn't have anything. I bet you her level of financial literacy is 0. But she's podcasting. But she's getting eyeballs. Whatever that is. And by the way, we have one of the biggest months last month on Instagram. 5.5 million views on our Instagram last month, and I made $40. Right? So what is this? If retirement for the rich, what does it cause you to think though? It causes you to think of hopelessness. It causes you to think of dependence, Social Security, right? Cause you to think of excuses of why we can't retire. It's only for the rich people. Now, what does ownership cause you to do? Cause you to plan early. Cause you to get financially literate. Causes you to protect what you have with insurance, right? Because if you don't make it, you want to make sure your family makes it. So, Lord forbid something happens to you, or if there's a change in your health and you can't have the ability to work anymore. You know, retirement is not a class privilege. It's a clarity privilege. And the people who don't wait for raises and they don't sit around wait, they raise standards instead. And they put themselves in a position of owning their own business, they own their own policy, they own their own retirement accounts, and cash flow they protect or expand. And they're escaping the money trap by taking ownership of it this way. What's another way to think about this? I'm gonna work till I die, right? Again, this is a quitting mentality. Just quitting already. And struggle is permanent. Versus what? Yeah, I might have to work longer because I didn't plan earlier, right? But I'm gonna have a plan in place. And I'm gonna have an opportunity to, have a side hustle. Welcome to life. Welcome to, every generation has had a tough, imagine, by the way, back to some of the things we reacted to before. Imagine being a Black life insurance agent. A Black life insurance agent talking to people about retirement accounts in the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, in the midst of slavery just recently being abolished. And that old thinking is still there. And still these Black-owned life insurance companies thrived. They expanded. They grew. 60 Black-owned CEOs, 60 Black-owned life insurance companies owned by Black CEOs. Amazing. Not around today. Ownership mentality back then. What's this language right here is victim language. It's annoying. Reading the book Black Titan by written by A.G. Gaston, one of the first Black millionaires in America. First one is Madam C.J. Walker. Go figure. The first Black millionaire in America documented was Madam C.J. Walker during the Spanish flu. She sold her hair care products in the middle of the Spanish flu. And then next Black millionaires became a guy named A.G. Gaston, who was born in Demopolis, Alabama, which is a haven for French aristocrats. A bunch of rich French people hung out there after Napoleon Bonaparte was kicked out. So they hung out in Demopolis, Alabama. And the largest growth of Black-owned life insurance companies were in 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 50s, and declined after the 60s and 70s. And so the different mentality of people that we have today, imagine I'm a Black life insurance agent. You're a Black life insurance agent trying to sell policies in your community. And you're worried about whether or not you get pulled over if the police are going to kill you first versus you succeeding in business. Think about that reality. Do we have that? Do we have much of that problem here today? No. I've got a bunch of guys in my company across the country in the Black community, Latino community, Asian community, Filipino community, winning in business. And do we still have to worry about the po-po doing the thing? Yeah, if we piss them off and we do things to not comply. But if you play the game, understand the environment we're in today, somebody pulls you over, hey, officer, here's my driver's license and registration. Well, play the game. So therefore, you can move on your business. Yeah, they're going to do their shit, but play the game. Yeah, record it, take ownership, go Facebook Live it while they're pulling you over. Play the game. You got to be a jerk about it. Take ownership of your situation. So therefore, instead of being reactive, so therefore you can get back throughout your day. By the way, this is the language I got to teach my son. Son, you're gonna be a Black man driving a car one day. I know this is a scenario that we're gonna be facing. You're gonna be facing. Your daddy's had to face it oftentimes because we've been in convertibles and Rolls Royce and fancy cars, and you got a bunch of Black and brown people driving those cars around, and it take a traction of the po-po to pull us over, and they do, and we play the game. We weren't doing anything wrong. There's nothing. Hey, what? Search my car. No problem. Here's my driver's license registration. What you need? I got no warrants. Good. I'm good to go. I'm not part of the stereotype of what you're trying to profile me into. I don't play that game. Why? Because I took ownership of my life. I separated myself from how that stinking thinking will bring our community down. And I don't want to be the representative of being the stereotype. I want to be the atypical example of our community. That's the way for me to honor those that went before me and the kids that will be building after. So as I wrap stuff up, and we have a thought process on this, what are your thoughts on this type of mentality? Is it healthy? Is it something that that's the other one? It's the second one I sent you. You had two of them lined up. Okay. And before I wrap up, if you want to connect with me, you want to say, Matt, I want to process some things with you. I want you to get in a system of just explain what you got going on. Connect with me on Connect. And when we are on Connect, I can text message you back an answer. I can respond to you in a video. I can do a selfie video, or we can do a 15-minute FaceTime type of conversation through this app called Connect. And so when you're looking at this, when you're looking at this, I'm looking forward to connect. There's a bunch of Connect just went through, and we got to get it squared away. With that being said, guys, I'll finish up with this thought. The system doesn't need you broke. Actually, the system needs you divided. And you think about the lack of unity we have in our country. We're not unified as a country. We're divided. The system's doing that. Forget economics. Because as long as you're arguing about politics, or arguing about race, or arguing about gender, or arguing about class, whether you can retire or not, we'll never notice the real war. And what's the real war? The war that's being fought over your wallet, your bank account, your attention, and your freedom. And so they don't need to put you in chains no more. They just need to distract you. Because a distracted person, a distracted community are an easily controlled people, an easily controlled community. And while we fight over the crumbs, they're feasting off the financial buffet that's out there. So look around. The average home is now a luxury. The average car costs as much as rent. Education, it's the only debt in America that you can't file bankruptcy to get rid of. Now, that's not a coincidence. That's not coordination. I agree some of the system is financially rigged against us, and yet they call it the American dream. But for too many people, the American dream has become an American debt trap. You finance your house, you finance your car, you finance your education. But here's the part that still stings. The only ones still defending this system are the ones who already fell for it. They're not protecting their truth. They're protecting their pride, so therefore they don't have to improve. They got caught up in the scam, because if they admit that they got scammed too through this system that's rigged against them, they have to admit they got played also. But you can be different. You're waking up. You're realizing that this whole setup was designed to keep you tired enough to comply and to be busy enough to never build your own. So here's your way out. Get financially literate. Start a business on the side. Build your own table. Bottom line, control your income so you can control your outcome. And I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying you'll finally see the financial scam system that we're a part of and for what it is. So therefore, you stop playing just by the rules. I didn't say break the law. You stop playing by the rules and you start writing your own. Because when you control your cash flow, you control your choices. And that's the beginning of financial freedom. And so when you're putting yourself in this situation and you listen, you allow the message to hit you and it does something to your spirit, don't get mad, get better, get equipped. If you want to be more equipped, we'll put a link here in the comment section, or we'll put a link here in the description, how to get a free copy, PDF, my best-selling book, Faith Made Millionaire, so you can learn how to play offense in a system designed to keep you broke. If that's you and you're following this video and watching to this very moment, put faith in the comment section below. We'll give you that link, so therefore you can get that PDF for you sent to you, your email. That being said, guys, if I haven't mentioned it yet, and if you're just checking in right now, if you're ready to go deeper in this conversation, again, join me November 12th in Dallas for Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey. November 12th. And it's just not an event. It's a gathering of builders, of leaders, of believers who refuse to be pawns in a game that was never meant for us. So November 12th here in Frisco, Texas, because this next era of leaders, it's not about division. It's about synergy. And together, we're taking it all back. That being said, I appreciate you watching this Millionaire Responds on 7 Figure Squad YouTube channel every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We do this Mindset, Millionaire Responds, reviewing videos here. So therefore you can watch the right things and start thinking the right things. So therefore you can take ownership of the right things. That being said, please put your biggest comments and please put your biggest takeaway in the comment section below. What was your biggest takeaway? Make sure you share this with other people too as well. They can avoid and lift themselves up and out of the victimhood mentality. That being said, from Dallas, Texas, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. But from Dallas, Texas, I'm your money smart guy. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart.